No, China is not going to collapse, or is it? Since the establishment of the People's Republic of China in 1949, the relationship between China and the United States has been characterized by complexity and mutual distrust. Despite this, the two countries have continued to maintain strong economic ties, which have seen substantial growth since 1980. But recently, with the Russia-Ukraine war, China has deepened its relationship with Russia. It looks like the two countries have developed an unwritten alliance against the United States' power as the #1 economy in the world. This alliance did not go unnoticed by the U.S., as there have been reports of China's spy balloons hovering over the country searching for any bit of information it can get. It is easy to see why China is detested by many Americans. Plus, China has been facing internal economic struggles of its own, and this situation leads to experts speculating that the country is going toward a downward spiral. But sorry to burst your bubble, but China is definitely not going to collapse anytime soon, not even in the next 100 years. Inasmuch as narratives about a possible China collapse are so captivating to read, this should not be something anyone should anticipate for, simply because not only China but the whole world would be devastatingly affected if such a collapse were to happen. Due to COVID-19 restrictions and the property bubble, China's economic growth has dropped to one of its lowest levels in decades. Despite this slowdown and other crises, such as population decline and persistent estate market slump faced by the country, China is way too far from the brink of collapse. Most Western media who proliferate the Great Fall of China theories must have been oblivious to the fact that China is more durable than every other nation thinks. Probably, this is the best time for you to discard this unnecessary rumor mongering. So in today's video, we are going to discuss some of the reasons why China is not going to collapse. But before we begin, ensure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications to get updates on new videos. First up is China's population. The country's population has started to fall as the death rate exceeded the birth rate last year. However, Chinese officials saw it coming and made efforts to decelerate the timing of the population decline. Some of the efforts were eradicating the one-child policy and proposing benefits to families to encourage them to give birth more children. However, those policies did not work, and the nation now has an increase in life expectancy and a decrease in the total population. Research shows that options for reversal are often very limited for the government of a country that finds itself below a certain point of its population growth. Some developed nations like the United States also have low national birth rates, but the influx of immigration has helped to promote population stability. Let's take Sweden for example. Sweden has had a successful but limited means to step up the rates of fertility. In the 1970s, when the nation was experiencing a decline in birth rates, the government offered parents leave of 9 months and later gave incentives that encouraged women to give birth to many children in a given period of time. Even though it worked greatly for some years that followed, there have been some fluctuations. However, Sweden still remains one of the developed nations around the globe with the most fertility rates, as it currently gives 480 days for parental leave. So what can China do to curb this crisis? There are various suggestions from experts on how China can address this crisis. Firstly, providing housing subsidies could potentially help new families with the cost of housing. As the cost of living continues to rise in China, it has become increasingly difficult for many couples to afford to start a family. By offering housing subsidies, the government can ease some of the financial burdens that come with starting a family, thus making it more attractive for couples to have children. Secondly, extending parental leave could allow parents to spend more time with their newborns and take care of them during the crucial early years of their lives. Many new parents in China are forced to return to work shortly after giving birth, which can be challenging for both parents and the child. By giving parents more time off work, it could positively impact the country's birth rate, as more people would be willing to start a family. Thirdly, increasing funds for education and retirement benefits like pensions could also encourage people to have children. Many young people in China are reluctant to start a family because of the high cost of education and the uncertainty surrounding retirement benefits. By increasing funding for these areas, it could ease some of the financial stress associated with starting a family, making it more attractive for young people to consider having children. Overall, it is important to implement policies that do not impose financial pressure or stress on individuals, as this can lead to a decline in the birth rate. By providing support for new families and increasing funding for education and retirement benefits, the government can encourage more people to start a family and help address the declining birth rate crisis in China. China's gross domestic product will get a rebound after the lifting of the stringent pandemic restrictions that kept millions of its citizens at home. Activity in the country has been restored, and China seems to have made a good beginning for a stronger rebound in 2023 and the years to come. A trend that supports this rebound was noticed in 2022. China's GDP increased by 3%. Several Chinese cities and provinces have set targets for 2023 in order to boost growth. These targets are mostly above 5%. Although investors expressed their concerns about the surge in the number of COVID-related cases and deaths that have been reported, the monthly and quarterly data of the country's economy grew higher than expected. Nations all over the world, businesses, and policymakers are all fixated on China's economic progress and strength. Economists are positive about a post-COVID recovery after sales in retail, and the labor market unexpectedly improved in recent months. The annual Spring Festival was a success. International institutions have shown some confidence in the rebound of the world's second-largest economy during the Spring Festival holidays that took place in January 2023. This was the first Spring Festival since the nation scrapped its stringent COVID-19 restrictions. During the festival that lasted from January 21st to 27, China recorded almost 2.9 million international trips and domestic trips of over 300 million. Also, the nation's movie box office saw about 6.76 billion yuan, which is nearly $1 billion US. This revenue marks the second highest earned for the holiday. So, amidst the crisis in the country, China is quietly having some outstanding events going on. New energy vehicles. Last year, the nation's new energy vehicle sector had remarkable growth. This reveals that investors and consumers are now hopeful in the manufacturing industry, and thus these energy vehicle creators race to produce more models. As a result, experts look forward to a new high record in this sector in 2023, or at least the second half of the year. In addition, they predict a rapid growth in the electric and plug-in hybrid vehicles market, suggesting that the sales of passenger NEV new energy vehicles would extend to 8.8 million units this year. Although the car market is currently having a downshift in growth at the beginning of 2023, which is a result of the withdrawal of subsidies by the Chinese government, it still has the biggest global electric vehicle NEV market. China is the leading manufacturer of solar products. China is the top manufacturer of solar products globally, even more so than the United States, Japan, and Europe. The country produces over 80% of the world's photovoltaic cells. In 2023, the increment in the production projects of photovoltaic PV will persist as the nation aims to install a capacity of 95 GW 120 GW gigawatt solar power. This will increase the current record by 30%. These solar products are suitable for commercial and residential usage. The president of China, Xi Jinping, aims to expand the capacity to 1,200 gigawatts by 2030. In achieving this, more people will be employed, thus sustaining employment in the country by investing in an energy market of the future while simultaneously providing employment for the millions of unemployed citizens. Foreign and economic policies. The Chinese government has been putting together some foreign and economic policies. These policies are primarily for the purpose of enhancing better diplomatic ties that past policies could not achieve, and hence help to restore economic stability. The goals of the economic policies, apart from the positive impact on the country's economy, are to assist millions of workers in Chinese rural areas, help sustain the falling real estate market, and aid finances at the local level of government. If the policies are implemented successfully, economists explain that the target of 2023 GDP growth is much more likely to be at 6% or even higher. Diplomatically, the Chinese officials plan to boost relations with certain Western countries, most especially to improve the ties with Europe that have been weakened as a result of China's support for Russia in the Russia and Ukraine war. China President Xi and Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, have vowed to intensify the bilateral ties between the two nations. Digital and infrastructure investment. There has been significant development in China's digital economy as well as infrastructure. People can now explore new opportunities in investment as the government revives infrastructure in parts of the country, most especially rural areas. The leaders have also proposed some projects to transform railways, roads, and ports digitally, thereby leading to more industries being constructed and a reliable way to bolster China's economy in 2023. Infrastructure investment is very likely to surpass investment in other sectors. This is because the government plans to carry on with the implementation of proactive fiscal policy and also scale up fundraising appropriately. In conclusion, although China is facing some serious economic challenges, the country has the resources and means to come out of these challenges even stronger. Let us know how you feel in the comments. Will China continue to be a force to be reckoned with, or is the giant about to fall? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.